Hi everyone, it's Norman Kochneck here from Eyes on Cricket with Norman Kochneck. We're here post day one. You've probably heard we went off some time ago due to rain. The rain cleared, but the bad light then kicked in, and they made the decision to start tomorrow some half an hour earlier, which will be 9:30 Brisbane time, which is actually 10:30 my time, which is 5 a.m. in India, and a whole host of different time slots after that. So it's been a good and a bad day. Obviously, England did not do that well. They were all out from 147, and they basically had it all to do tomorrow. And I guess the good thing for Australia was they didn't have to bat in those conditions, because we didn't actually see how bad the conditions actually were. But it looks as though the conditions are pretty bad, because bad lighting in Sydney is torrential rain down here. It's ridiculous. After 50.1 overs, England were all out for 147 with Pat Cummins newly appointed captain, and also he took his first 5-wicket haul as captain of his country, and that's a pretty big deal. Certainly, so he got some 13.1 overs, 3 maidens, 5 for 38, which is amazing figures in itself. Nathan Lyon bowled 9 overs, unfortunately, yet again didn't take a wicket. He's now none for 21, so he's still on 399, and will stay on that figure probably for some time. Well, at least until the second innings. We'll see whether he can break the hoodoo there. But overall, I mean, it all started from the very first delivery with amazing bowling from Stark in the first over, getting that first delivery to swing and collect the leg stump of Rory Burns for Golden Duck. And so that led to a succession of early wickets, with Milan for 6, and then Joe Root batted some nine deliveries for no runs, and was out to a ball which was a much fuller ball from Hazel. He bowled short of a length, and then all of a sudden the fuller ball drew Root out a little bit, and he edged it, and he went for a duck. So both Rory Burns and Root were both ducked. Milan for 6. He looked okay, but unfortunately got a good ball again. Then you have Ben Stokes, was batted for quite a while before he got off the mark. He was then caught on a third slip by Labuschagne off Cummins. In fact, I think that was Cummins' first wicket of the day. Ollie Pope gave some great joy to Cameron Green. Cameron Green took his very first Test wicket. Cameron Green's played for half a dozen Tests. Has batted quite well, but he hasn't taken a wicket. Now he's taken a wicket. It was a great catch by Hazel down at the fine leg. Very commendable indeed. So that was quite impressive. So Josh Butler, Hamid looked pretty good there for a while, but then he came back after the lunch break. Second delivery he faced, he then got out. He was then caught by, he was caught by Smith at second slip, regulation catch off Cummins, giving him another wicket. And as we'll find out, Cummins actually took 5 wickets, a great haul. And Josh Butler and Ollie Pope batted quite successfully together, looked quite good. Unfortunately, Josh Butler was caught by the keeper, Carey. Ball that he played that a little bit too loosely too. Anyway, and then Ollie Pope, as I said, got out to that great catch from Hazelwood off the bowling of Green. Chris Wokes came in. He looked quite steady, but again he succumbed to another pull shot, same position where Hazelwood was again, and he was caught by Hazelwood bowled Cummins. Cummins then went on to take Ollie Robinson, first ball caught off the bowling there by Carey, the keeper. Carey then has actually taken 3 catches today, and he kept quite soundly. Then Marcus Harris took a ball of Mark Wood, just popped off Cummins. It was lifted a bit. Mark Wood popped the easy catch to Harris and short mid on, silly mid on for 8. Jake Leach remained not out 2, and they were all out for 147 and 50.1. So run rate just under 3. Never really on 3 the whole day. So the bowling figures: Mitchell Stark, he's 12 overs. He was obviously took the first wicket, which was great. His figures were 2 for 35. It was admirable. It was not bad at all. Josh Hazel was certainly a standout as well with his 30 overs, 4 maidens, 2 for 42. But Pat Cummins, 13.1 overs, 3 maidens, 5 for 38. So he effectively effectively, they balanced the bowling. Both Stark, Hazel and Cummins all bowled 12, 13 overs each. Nathan Lyle chipped in with 9, but didn't take any wickets. He bowled steadily, no wicket being taken. Cameron Green, for his mere 3 overs, 1 for 6, and he's cock-a-hoop at the moment. He's taking his first Test wicket. So there you go. We're going to see Warner and Harris bat. They were going to bat today, but they didn't get a chance to. So they are now on 147, all out. So England, had not played well enough by any stretch of imagination. They won the toss too, don't forget, and elected to actually won the toss and elected to bat, which was normally the way that Australia would have went as well, by the way. So you can't knock that decision. And Australian bowlers did well, in particular, Captain Pat Cummins. He led by example. Hazel was particularly good. Stark took the first wicket, which set the tone, but he bowled a little bit wayward on occasions as well. So generally, it was a good day's bowling from Australia. They chipped in together 50 overs for 50.1 overs, 147. So then the rain came down, and it was rather expected that it would come down at some stage. It did. They actually had the pitch cleared. They had the umpires out there, but then the bad light situation kicked in, and the game stopped at that time. So, effectively a 147 day for England. And as what Mark Taylor and a few others have said, it's a great effort by Australia, certainly. There's no doubt about that. But we do have to wait and see how Australia fare with the bat. And admittedly, the shock, of course, was that Anderson was out with an injury. But then on top of that, we had Broad also not playing. So that was 2 players out. So their bowling attack is led by Mark Wood, obviously Ollie Robinson, with Chris Wokes, Jack Leach, and then the 5th bowler will be definitely, and not in that order necessarily, but it'll be Ben Stokes coming through to take on his overs and bowl in his normal way. So, that's going to be an interesting scenario indeed. You can't help but think that Australia have got the ascendancy, without a doubt. And also, do you think Root should have bowled first, given the conditions? No, I don't, Aaron Singh. I still think he should have. He's done the right toss-wise. He did the right thing, but it was a good toss to lose, they were saying. Got Cummins' brilliant captaincy on super bowling. Well, super bowling set definitely. His captaincy fell into place quite nicely, but I don't know. He was a bit more commanding than I thought he was going to be. There wasn't a lot of evidence of Smith needing to say very much. I think everything went their way, so there was probably no need to worry about that. So I'm first man who had said that this was the best series of Patrick Cummins. Well, you may well be. We'll wait and see. I'm not down here to go. Great answer to all those who criticise Stark. Yes, Stark was almighty pumped. He bowled well, but he didn't bowl overwhelmingly well. He started off absolutely amazingly. It was a great first ball, and deserved all the accolades that it got. So, well played, Australia. I'm going. You're reading my comments. You can go because I am reading your comments, and I'm not here to read your comments only. That really annoys me. I'm actually reading everybody's comments, and I'm reading your comments as we speak. What are you talking about? And so, you don't threaten me with going, because I don't need you to do that. You don't need to threaten anyone. Okay, well, I'm here to provide you with a service. So please don't make out that I'm not reading your comments. I can't read every single comment all the time, and I read them as many as I can. You know that. So why didn't Root pick bowling? The conditions are too good for the paces. Well, again, traditionally, you always bat first when you win the toss in Australia. Ponting, War, Mark Taylor, they all would say, win the toss and bat first. And then you get through that first hour or two of damaging play, and you survive, and then you go on to score a cricket score of 300-400. The reality is that didn't happen with England. England lost too many wickets, and they ended up not getting what they would have liked to have gotten. And, they basically, unfortunately, they didn't quite get the result that they wanted. But again, as we've spoken about earlier, we have yet to see Australia bat. You would assume that Australia would do better than this, but you can't say without any certainty at this point. You really can't. So we'll wait and see how it pans out. It's going to be one of those days when I can see the line of Ben Stokes. Ben Stokes tried hard, but he came in too early. Root struggled immensely and got out to a delivery which was a good effort from Hazel to try to, get him short of the length, and then a much fuller ball, which dragged him out that little bit and got the edge. It was actually a plan, and the plan was executed brilliantly. So hats off to them. They did very well. They did very well indeed. So it was quite a good effort indeed. So that was a brilliant start by Australia. And Pat Cummins deserves all the accolades he can get. He certainly did bowl well, but Hazelwood chipped in greatly. His 2 wickets were very, very impressive. He took some great wickets to follow up from the good start the start gave. And then obviously Cummins came on and really finished off with 5 wickets. He bowled particularly well. Bowling himself very early, but in fact the 5th over of the day, which was 2 overs from each of the opening bowls, and he brought himself straight into the attack, which I don't know whether that necessarily would have been that quick. So 364 for 2, and they gave it 147 for 10. What is better for Australia? You're saying 2 for 364 Australia batting you're talking about. It depends on the weather, really, on that comment. But I would argue that they prefer to be where they are now. But we don't know yet. Until Australia bat, we don't know. Even if Australia was 2 for 364, England could come out and score a big score too if that was the case. It comes down to the conditions in the next few days. It's going to be very similar. It's going to be playable for most of the day, and then about 3, 4 o'clock we're going to lose most of the day. There seems to be a great sense of belief and positive energy around Cummins et al. He might become a great test captain in the making, which Australia needed for a long time. Yeah, I do like that enthusiasm. I do appreciate it, but we haven't seen things go against him yet. That's when we really will judge him. We'll see how he handles that. And he falls on the revised captaincy, which I'm kind of, if I'm being honest with you, I expected something like that to happen, but they went perfectly well today. Perfectly well. Very much in favour of the way that Pat Cummins would have liked it to have gone. So he'd be happy with that. There's no doubt about that. He'd be very happy with that indeed. So, yeah, I mean, it's certainly been a great day. It's stumps, yes, it is stumps. It's stumps because of the bad light which followed the rain, the bad light. They both followed each other. I'll eat something about get some things out for me to eat. We'll see, guys, what I'm talking I want to be able to eat. Let's do stuff here. All right. We all have to wait, don't we? I've got beetroot, some nice pickles and cucumbers. Let's see how that fills me up. All right. So, those questions are coming through now. And I'm going to answer as many questions as I can. And that man that came here before, I'm going if you're not. Oh. So, Abroad and Anderson rested because it's a long series, but they haven't played cricket since the. That's true. Maybe they felt they weren't. The crucial matches will come later. Some people were saying, you don't have them play now, and then they get Australia too much of a lead, it'll be too late later. I agree with that. I think one of those two should have played today. I would have argued Broad should have played. But we'll see how the bowlers go. All right. The England bowlers handle themselves well. You never know, we might have a shot out for 200 in the game on. So, Australia have done well. There's no doubt. They lost the toss, and as I said, traditionally the Australian side always bat first on a gabba wicket. Can England bowlers replicate what Aussie bowlers did today? They certainly can. I mean, we know that Ollie Robinson certainly is capable. He showed that. I have a lot of faith in him. Mark Wood's speed will be very interesting if he keeps accurately. The fact is that the way that Ollie Robertson, Mark Wood, Chris Wokes is a great bowler. Those three novels, obviously, we're not discarding Ben Stokes. We're very good bowlers, but they will meet well, they will miss, I should say, they will miss Anderson abroad. There's no doubt about them. But either both of them or at least one of them. Goosebumps when Rashad Punt plays the winning run and they gave it Norman. What an epic series that was. Yes, I must say, I mean, when I looked at this ground, the memory is very strong for that day, wasn't it? That still lingers. It's only 11 months ago. Not very far away at all. So I'm going to... Hello, I'm live on. Good. I'm live on television, so I have to call you back. Okay.
Okay, no worries.
Bella. Yeah. So. Yeah. England already went 1 wicket down when they chose. Already 1 wicket down when they chose to bat. Why would you say that? What are you eating? Please give me. It's gherkin. Robbie, Anama, explain what you mean by that. How many overs lost though? You normally go with roughly 90 overs a day, so we've had 50. Change of innings, 10 minutes, 2 or 3. So we're starting only starting half an hour earlier tomorrow, which is not a huge start. Half an hour earlier, which I don't think is enough time really. We lost about an hour to 2 hours of play. Was that your wife and mother? Willowbone. How many overs lost? So, I don't think in terms of how many overs lost, there's plenty of time in this match. 1 innings is finished. In 5 days of cricket, you can finish 4. And I don't think the innings are going to be very long somehow. I don't think they're going to last long at all. I reckon Australia will get around the 200 mark to 250. That's my thoughts. I'm wondering if it was a good wicket to bowl. Look, the conjecture about whether to bat or bowl first, the right decision was made by England. You win the toss, you bat. It was the right decision to make. They just didn't execute as well as they should have. That's the issue. All right, so it wasn't a matter of making the wrong decision. Some people were saying it was the right toss to lose. No, I don't agree. I think it was a toss to win. You always want to win the toss. And in Australian conditions, normally you would bat first and happily bat first. The thing is that we didn't have that happen here today. And Australia got a wicket first. No, I think it's people ask me the copyright strikes. I'm actually permission to use. If you haven't got permission to use, yeah, so I have permission to use my videos. Plenty of people don't. Plenty of people use other people's videos, get lots of links, get a lot of people watching, but then haven't got permission to use it. I'm wondering if it was a good wicket. I think it was, yes. If Australia crossed round, England will surrender. That's a bit heavy. When the new test squad will announce Norman. Any idea on today's announcement? Well, that's a good point. There's no word for that at this point about the Indian team announcement. Because don't forget, they're leaving later. They're not leaving as expected today or in the next few days. So they'll probably delay the decision. The new squad will probably be delayed a few days. Maybe on the first actual century now. I think someone like Smith will. Hello, Norman. Interesting days to say the least. Cummins didn't disappoint with his captaincy, did he? Well, leading by example, I would agree. He also did make most of the decisions. I didn't see a lot of Smith on occasions wave someone in a different position, but Cummins was very active in setting field. So I think he was more a part of it than you think, and he was certainly involved when he decided to put himself on in the 5th over. And obviously, Pat Cummins, we're going to see Pat Cummins take a lot more wickets, I think, in the future. He's going to bowl more. England will lose 5-0. They won't lose 5-0. What's worse? England choosing to bowl first. No, I think neither are bad. It's just a selection you make. It's the toss is one thing, but how you play is the other. The weather will continue to be this overcast, inclement type weather. We'll get 2 sessions in, with the last session rather doubtful. But the way this match will go, there'll be ample time to get a victory, in my opinion. So I don't think there's anything to really worry about there, guys. Way too early to be judging him. England will come back in the second match. If they don't win this match, they will definitely come back in the second. The weather will probably be a lot better there. No game in Perth, as you know. We've talked about that already. Perth will not have the 5th test. Our Prime Minister's defending and wants Hobart to have the 5th. If Archer and Broad in England, well, that would have been interesting. So for Howard does the, and then you're lost. Well, I can't just blame it because traditionally the case when you go to the Gabba, you do lose afternoon sessions of play. It's very, very common. So it's not unique to this year by any means, nor is it something that we should have been shocked about. So, no, I'm not really worried about that at all, to be honest with you. I think we've got a lot more issues surrounding the playing group rather than the actual the toss itself. So, no, I wouldn't be worried. Alex Hales, he's playing for the Sydney Thunder, the English former Test cricketer, which I feel sorry for. He probably deserves to be in there somewhere, but has now played. He's going to score. I think there's only a small matter of 6 runs or something to go past. Who does he need to go past? Let's have a look here. To go past Luke Wright is the highest run getter of an international player at the VVL, which is a rather big deal. So that's commendable for Alex Hales. I've got a video out on him, and he'll be talking more about that. Really disappointing with what? As feared, England got bundled out for paltry score. It is a bit disappointing, I must say, but we don't know how Australia will go yet. Let's just wait. Anderson's bowling record on the go is abysmal. England have better chances at the go without Anderson. Okay, that's interesting. You will think England will bounce back in the second test? I've said, yes, definitely. In fact, I predicted that England would lose this match. And Australia batted first. I definitely thought that. But they won the toss. They had a bit of a hope, but they didn't take advantage of it. But despite that, England were always destined to lose the first test. But in Adelaide, with the swinging ball and the pink ball under lights, Anderson's revels in that situation, accompanied by Broad, because they'll both be fresh. They haven't played the first test match. And you'll see them probably take that victory, which will bring it to 1-1 with 3 tests left. Melbourne, I think it'll go England's way as well. Then Sydney test will go Australia's way, making it 2-2. That brings into play, because Australia have to win this match. So let's just say rain affects them and they don't win the match. Well, they're missing out on opportunity. Could come back to bite them later. With it being 2-2 after the 4 tests, it leaves the 1 test in Hobart, which will definitely favour the English conditions-wise. So there you go. England batsman confidence looking so bad. Well, yeah, it's very early. I mean, Root and Rory Burns will certainly do better next time. Just because they were out cheaply doesn't mean that they're gone. Ben Stokes and Butler are lurking as well. Eric got out for a duck. 9 balls. He looked decidedly uncomfortable. The guy came in very early, so came in very, very early. Came in very, very, very early indeed. So, he really didn't help his own cause there, did he? Yeah, so now, interesting state of affairs there. So again, the full scorecard. Rory Burns a duck. Hamid looked quite good. He lasted the complete first session of day's play and held on very well for 25 of 75 balls, but got out to a very good ball straight after the break. That's unfortunate. Milan looked okay, but he got out to a good ball. Root was not himself. 9 balls for a duck. Ben Stokes, way too early coming into the order. He tried his best, but he got a ball which he snicked to the third slip, Labuschagne of Cummins. Ollie Pope and Josh Butler got 35 and 39 respectively. They both looked very, very good. Ollie Pope impressed me. I didn't think that he should be in the side, but best I should be in the side, but he impressed me. Hasn't Hellman has a lot of potential. Yes, he does. Thoughts on Butler's short innings was quite good. In fact, I'm very impressed with Butler. Unfortunately, he was caught off Stark. It was unfortunate because he was just looking like he was getting somewhere. He got a good ball which lifted and he poked it. He could let it go. Wokes was also looking pretty good. So, their order goes 3, even though they only got 147 runs, they bat right down to 9. Ollie Robinson can bat too. He got out for a duck this time, but he can bat. Wood and Leach were probably the only true bunnies in the team, but Stokes, Pope, Butler, Wokes, and Robinson can all bat. So Hasib Hamid is a Gujarati. Yeah, but he's not, no matter what part of India originally from, he's a good player. What do you think about Shane Warne's jibber jabber at the commentary? Shameful, or should he? I say it lacked the spirit of cricket. Shane Warne gets away with a lot. We know that. But at the same time, he might say some rubbish, but he also says on occasion some good things. So it's kind of hard to know where to draw the line with him. But I think let him go. I'm going to have a pepperoni pickle. Delightful. Very spicy. And that's your Chowdhury here. 5-0 loading. Hold your horses. It's way too early to be saying that. Way, way too early. So, the bowling is of interest. He didn't have did not have line bowl that many hours. I think bowled 9. All bowlers had a run out of less than 3 except for Hazel. So Stark looked good. I think it could be 2-all. That's what my thoughts are, that it will be 2-all. Gabba will go to Australia. Then you'll have Adelaide will go to England. Melbourne will go to England. Sydney will go to Australia, making it 2-all, leaving the 5th test in Hobart, which will be very much, you would argue, in England's favour. Still waiting for Liney, his 4th of the week. I think so is Liney. He's made it pretty clear. He's got 399 wickets. I think it's 400 or 399. It doesn't really matter too much, to be honest with you. It's a fantastic record. Would you be attending this in test? Of course I'm attending this in test. I hope to be attending, even more than that. With Adelaide and Melbourne, they're all on, and obviously Hobart. Did Rory Burns wicket beat England mentally and push them down? It was not the start they would have liked. It psychologically lifted Australia. Good to see Cameron Green get his first test wicket after having played an entire series early this year and not taking a wicket. He's now played literally, I think, was it his first ball or first or second ball? I think it was his first ball he got a wicket. Admittedly, it was a ball skied down to fine leg, and it was a great catch by Hazel, but he got a wicket. That goes in the record books as a wicket taken. So very, very good. In the Pakistan-Bangladesh match, Pakistan are 4 for 300 declared. Bangladesh all out for 87 to follow and 4 for 88. It's a messy test, isn't it? Bangladesh is certainly getting pummeled by Pakistan. Pakistan have done a great job. My food's being... Anyway, okay. Please update about weather tomorrow. Now, Himanshu Chaudhary the whole week in Brisbane, which is typical of any stage of the week. The situation is always going to be a situation where Queensland, the first two sessions, I'll get through the third session. The third session will go likely to be a rain period of around 3-4 o'clock for an hour or so, and hopefully they get back on at that day ends. That's very typical of a Gabba pitch, Gabba cricket. It's very generally, they have that situation happening all the time. So that's a very common thing that happens in the ground. So that's what Himanshu Chaudhary, that's what we're talking about. Not the Rory Burns wicket that we would have hurt them. It's the way he got out. It lacked intent. It was a very poor shot, definitely, without a doubt. Didn't know what he was doing. He shuffled his feet, exposed his legs. It was a good delivery, though. I think there was a plan there. I may watch him shuffle across more often. How do you rate Cummins' captaincy? Well, everything went right for Cummins today, and I rate that handsomely, but everything went right. What happens if everything goes wrong? How will he handle that? And that's where things are. He was tested, but he was on top of it early. He manhandled the way he bowled. He took himself on to bowl the fifth over of the day, which was rather early. The opening bowlers only bowled 2 overs each. He came in with that early spray, and then he took wickets on regular occurrence and took 5 in total. So first duck, Burns' first duck in Ashes. Okay, we brought out Warner. Will be very happy. Exactly, that's what I thought. As soon as I saw brought out, and obviously Anderson, it did make me. But then look, Ollie Robinson's no slouch, and Mark Wood isn't either. They're both going to test Warner, but you'd have to think that he's in a better position than he was. Do you think this is why Colin retirement because he is not playing international cricket so much? No, I don't think he'll retire. From T20 cricket and perhaps not far away ODIs, but Test cricket, it's a long way to go. Australia will score 400. I don't think so. The weather's, I don't know. If the weather keeps up, this pitch is not going to be able to clear itself out, and I just don't know whether that's going to be that conducive to bat by anyone. Stark's ball was typical aggression ball, and Burns was expected. It was pretty good start. There's no doubt about that. It set the scene, set the tone of the series, and it is interesting how that first ball of the series sets the tone, and that certainly has set a very strong message to England from very early stage. And they didn't really recover. At one stage they were, what were they? They were 4 down, and then we had the likes of Butler and then Pope come in, and they did a reasonable job. Resurrected it somewhat, but then they again started losing wickets and just scraped their way to 147. Without Anderson and Broad, England bowling this week. Well, I would argue it is, and also not forgetting they haven't got the big man himself. What's his name again? Archer is the other loss that they got. But they have got Ben Stokes back. That's a bit of an advantage because he can set balance up the team. Leach, well, he's not a bad spinner, but not really on this wicket. A lot of pressure on Robinson, a lot of expectation on Robinson to lead the attack with Wood. And Chris Wokes will bowl admirably too. So they've got a reasonable attack. Not their best attack, that's for sure. Last year, Stark bowled pretty sure on the first ball of the series. Okay, well, there you go. And if that's that, I do remember that. So, yes, too early to be judging the whole series. Let's see how Australia bat. With the conditions being cloudy, if the pitch doesn't retain its hardness, England would have some good chances in this test. That's true. Archer would have been a massive asset for England at the Gabba, certainly. No doubt. Especially to put him and Wood together. But Anderson Broad, Yeah, it's a very interesting combination. So yes. Well, we've gone. Cricket, no second ball. There was no second balls at all. What are you talking about? I think Virat is better than Root in Australian conditions. That's for sure. Root hasn't been able to prove himself yet in Australian conditions. He looked very ordinary just then. There's no doubt about that. No doubt about that. Root is probably not as good as Virat. Now, Virat's aggression is what was certainly missing for this effort. Indeed. Yeah. All right. So we've had a day of high drama from Australia. Certainly. I mean, Cummins was under enormous pressure from his captain. He didn't lean on Smith nearly as what he needed. But the reality was that he just did well. The team did well. They actually did well. The aggression showed by Stark is a comparable to what my answer. Yeah, that's true. Big opportunity for Harris and Head to cement their place in the side. Yes, I don't know about Harris. I think it's more of a. I'm not a Travis Head fan, to be really honest with you. So I'm struggling with Travis Head being in the side. I'm not thinking that he's thought he's that way at all. Root wicket was very important. Yes, it certainly was. It certainly was. True, Norman. The difference between England team and the second Indian team at Gabba was intent and aggression. There's no doubt about it. England showed a bit of fight with both Butler and Pope. They certainly did fight a fair bit. But it wasn't enough though, was it? It certainly was not enough. If Head scores a century, then what? Well, that's good on him. But I just think Usman Khawaja is a better choice, in my opinion. Some other weather update, Ankush Yadav. It is going to be, as we always would expect with England, with Australia, at the Gabba. We've got stormy conditions. It's a subtropical area. It'll be raining around 3-4 o'clock for a small period of time, quite heavily, and then dry up. And then maybe time to play a game after that. But leading up to the first two sessions should be pretty good. So that's the prediction. That's going to be the case for quite a while. And probably even Sydney's the same at the moment. Both situations, they both are very late afternoon rain, with a bit of intermittent non-rain periods, but certainly with plenty of time to play the game. So look, they've already one day's gone and a team's all out. Got 4 days left and there's still 3 innings to go. So there's plenty of time for this match to be resolved. So I wouldn't mind with the rain. If it does rain every day around about 3-4 o'clock, it'll be okay because we'll have. Even if it's just 2 sessions to go, it'll be fine. The only aggression you could see in England betting was Butler. Butler, I mean, Pope looked pretty solid too. I think Chris Wokes tried very hard. It's just Root came in really early. What is the forecast tomorrow? Pretend for the 5th time I've been telling people here today that it'll be as it was. It'll be a similar day to what today was, with 2 sessions probably allowed to play, and then some little rain squall, which will involve some heavy downpours around the 3-4 o'clock mark for about an hour. I think it'll be off, and then hopefully there'll be enough time for an hour or so to play at the end. If they start early enough, we might get a fair bit more play, and I would argue they need to start early every single day. If anything, cricket should have been Commonwealth Games. Cricket was a Commonwealth game. Well, no, of course it should be. Women's Commonwealth Games, it is, as you know, to be on. Yeah. So it's all right. It's going to play. Yeah, so we're going to try and do this before and after the test. It's going to be a bit of a slog. 25 days will be before and after the matches. Sounds a bit like the IPL. First pitch used well. After lost it. Yeah, they do. Look, they lost the toss and they certainly got the bend. It was a bit of an unusual situation because really Australian sides traditionally win the toss and bat first and have similar conditions and do very well. So I have never lost a pink ball test. Hard time drinking ahead. Well, no, I don't agree. I think England have a great chance. Don't think Australia never lost at the Gabba. What happened earlier this year? They lost. So no, I'm saying that the pink ball test going England's way. I think they're holding back Jimmy. Yeah, a lot of people were discussing they should have had Jimmy Anderson and Broad play the early test matches and then choose to rest them to get the early victory. Well, yes and no. If they never really expected to win this test match, then they would have been wasted. Champions Trophy should be called Commonwealth Trophy. Well, it's not. Permanently used pink ball. No, I don't know if they'll do that permanently. Who was a better battle, Ashes series or India versus Pakistan? Well, India and Pakistan are certainly a huge rivalry. There's probably a lot more tradition and length of relationship between Australia and England, because the India-Pakistan thing really only started from 47 or thereabouts, whereas we've gone since almost 1847. So it's got a lot of years on it. It's not a bad comparison. One battle shouldn't be seen as better or worse than another. They have their individual rights. The Border Gavaskar Trophy, Australia and India. The one that's between Battalion Trophy between England and India. The Ashes, they've all got their merits. They should be, embraced as all very important. Not one more important than the other. It's just not about that. When they happen, they're important for cricket lovers to watch, whatever one they are. Ashes is a rivalry, India is a battle. Well, you can argue they're both the same. Pitch is good for batting. It was a pathetic show by England. Well, yes and no. The bowling was pretty good today, and everything went to hand. All catches were taken. Alex Carey on his debut for Australia looked pretty solid with his keeping. He was very calm. He handled it pretty well. The test will be to see how they're going to come back. Maybe, they certainly can. How much will Smith score tomorrow? I don't think Smith will get 100 tomorrow. No aggression in England team. Well, perhaps not so far. I think it wasn't everyone's cup of tea. That's true. Certainly was India's cup of tea, wasn't it? India did exceptionally well. Exceptionally well. I'm what, TVG? What country am I from? Australia. Sydney, Australia. I can't be at the Gabba, but I'll be there for most, if not all, other tests. Why England batting is struggling everywhere? Well, it's not struggling everywhere. They had an incredibly bad start. Hamid looked promising. Ben Stokes did. Butler did. Even Pope did. And we know that Root will come back. Rory Burns was by far the most disappointing of the wickets. He just seemed to be shuffling his feet everywhere. Who were the highest run scorer of the series? Probably a Smith. Warner, careful of bat. Well, morning session. We'll see how he goes. He's got no Broad to contend with. Do you think Cricket should be in the games? Yes. Who will be the highest? I've already said that. Smith. How you see England's association to Bedford? I still think it was the right decision to make. When you play in Australia, you win the toss and you bat first. That's always been the rule. All Australian captains do that. So Root followed a very strong tradition there and wasn't the wrong decision. It just didn't go his way. If they'd survived the first 2 hours and didn't lose any wickets, it would have been a very different story, but they didn't. They lost steady wickets throughout the first period of time, hence the situation. PS, hello everyone. If India will not play cricket, then what is the future of cricket? Exactly. It's an advantage to Australia now, no doubt. It certainly is an advantage to Australia, but England team saved by rain. Well, that could well be the case. I'm seeing a comment here. Let's just wait and see. Let's just wait and see what happens, guys. It's just too early to say what we really was. We don't know yet. It's an advantage to at the moment. Yes, on day one, definitely. England After 147 and 50 overs, it's too low. But say if Australia gets out to 220 tomorrow, well, then it's pretty even keel. What Australia need to do is make sure they win this match and don't fritter it away and have a draw and therefore give England a slight upper hand because of that. That's the same terms who chose to bowl and Australia scored 2 for 364 after date. Yeah, he did. That was a silly move. That was a very silly move. And this time they chose to bat and they didn't take advantage of it. But it's still not yet over. John, do you think Root will be able to overcome his struggles against Hazel and Cummins? That's going to be interesting. There's certainly issues there. He's not handling it well. It's quite disappointing. He'll play a lot better at Melbourne and Sydney and Hobart and potentially Adelaide as well. So there's a lot more to come from Root. Let's not underplay his capability. All right. I think he's still well up there, well up there, guys. Yeah, it's 147 is not a good total. Pratam Man, how are you? Tomorrow's first session would dictate how the match will go. Cloudy, fast conditions could favour England too. Oh, absolutely. They've got bowlers such as Robertson, who is a particularly good bowler. He's very much like a Hazelwood or an Anderson. Wood's got incredible pace, and if he gets his act out, there could be a hard one to play as well. Chris Wokes is very good in these conditions, so they've got 3 quality bowlers. And, of course, there's Ben Stokes, who's unpredictable. He's a bit of an in both, and we know that he can do anything on the day. Some will come down from day 3. Yeah, okay. Range saving England again. Well, let's not. Well, the innings has been completed. That's more than you would have expected in this match at this stage. Let's be honest. Let's have a look here. One thing for sure, all the computers that I'm witnessing are not working. Range save England. Well, it's the game's not a one-day match. A lot of time to go. What could be the reason behind dropping Broad? Well, they want to save him probably for the later tests. And if they saw this test as being one that they're not expected to win, they don't want to overuse them early. That's their plan. We may well see a lot of benefit from this result. They may well have a situation where they bat really well in the they bowl really well in the later games, and we got egg on our face. Very, very possible. Indeed. Well, I'm pretty sure that we're going to see a lot more of this. Okay, so let's have a look here. What do you think of India's ODI captaincy of Virat? I think Robert's going to eventually take that over, but Virat needs to get the test captaincy. Roberts can be dangerous. He certainly can. England are struggling everywhere in India, at home and in Australia. They should play on Jupiter. I think that's a bit heavy, Himanshu. I think that's way too heavy. Anderson doesn't hit the deck hard. Explain why his performance in Australia is appalling. Well, no, he bowled very well in the pink ball test. And he'll bowl well in Hobart. He'll bowl well, in grounds like Melbourne and Sydney. Perth, and which is now no longer playing play, which is a disadvantage to Australia. And the game would not have suited him, perhaps. You're right. Rain is 12th man of England team in 2021 against India, but India already won 2-1 before. Okay, yeah, well, that's true. Haven't got any concerns with that at all, by the way. Okay. Haven't got any concerns whatsoever. So, there's been a lot of conjecture about this game, and it's meeting the hype, I have to say. England team started badly when they had that Muggerin came into. Yeah, it's all too early to really know what's going to happen here. Will Khawaja play at the test? I think he will. Just wait and see. Can India win against South Africa? They certainly can. They should actually beat them handsomely. They should be able to beat them handsomely, to be honest with you. If my thoughts are very strong that there should be a very handsome victory to India and South Africa. And that's been delayed. The first match is now December 26th, so we're still talking about 2.5 weeks before the first match has been played there. Anderson, I think, has 1 5 for Australia. That 2 was the pink with Paul. Should replace Wokes and Wood next game. He will be definitely in there. I think Broad will be there too. And rightfully so. Those 2 guys have been champion bowlers for more than a decade. They're encroaching 15 years now. Their records are incredible. Don't forget the records of. Let's not downplay a team, a bunch of bowlers. I'm just going to pull up these stats to just talk about it. Okay. Australia, all Asian tours should be a fun. Anderson, I think, has one. Yeah, okay. Let's have a look here. All records. Let's go to the bowling records. Let's just have a look at. I'm not going to actually show you which ground or where it's overrated. No, it's not. He's scored close. Well, he's fast approaching 10,000 runs. He's only got, I think, Alistair Cook in front of him. He's not overrated at all. In this time, only 4 countries playing cricket: Australia, India, New Zealand, and England. What do you mean? Pakistan and Bangladesh are playing as we speak as well. So most wickets in a career. Let's have a look at this stat. Morley's got 800. Warren's got 708. Kumble, well, actually, Anderson is 3rd now. He's ahead of Kumble. Anderson has 632 wickets and 186 tests. He's taken 31 fifers. So he's not a slouch. Hazel has Wood over Root. Okay. All right. Okay, Norm. Would Tim Payne tour India after this? No. Did Ashwin get the last laugh? Yeah, I think Tim Payne's gone. That's it. He's gone. There are B teams in the test, man. Okay. Anyway. So, Morley has 800 wickets. Shane Warne has 708. Anderson is 3rd with 632. He has more than Kumble, who had 619. Then McGrath with 563. Then Broad with 524. So effectively, the 3rd and the 6th ranked bowler of all time is Broad Anderson. Only Warne and McGrath are in that same league, and those 2 are lethal together as well. So Broad Anderson is like a Warne and McGrath combination, let's be honest. Warne's 2nd, Anderson's 3rd. McGrath is 5th, Broad is 6th. The differences are very, very minimal. Okay, and obviously with Ashwin now, what's Ashwin? Ashwin is, he's ranked 12th. Harrison's at singles 14th. Lyon, who still hasn't taken that wicket, is 17th. He's got 6 to catch. Well, better hurry up. Yeah, I mean, look, Nathan Lyon has also got, he's 17th. He's ahead of both of them. You can't knock these people. They've done very, very well. No matter where they've done well, they've done well. Mitchell Stark's wicket was the start of it. It was amazing as it was. It was a great delivery. Anderson is England's best bowler. Okay. Starkey's first ball was amazing. Stark is very dangerous with the new ball. But he bowled that well after it. He got another good wicket though. He did bowl quite reasonably. He did bowl very well. They can't knock what we saw with Stark. But it wasn't in the same. I shouldn't say that. He bowled very well. Okay, Stark bowled well. Hazel bowled exceptionally well, and Cummins finished it off beautifully with 5 wickets. Those 3 bowlers bowled very well. Lyon was steady without being flashy. Cameron Green took a wicket in his first test. Not his first test. This was his 6th test. But took a wicket on the first or second ball. How do you think Kerr will go with the bat? Well, he's a steady batsman. He bats quite well. You'd think that he would do okay, but I'm not expecting him to get runs. I'm not that worried about his batting as long as he keeps well. We've done without a good batting. We've had Tim Payne, who's been reasonable with his batting. He hasn't set the wall on fire. His keeping is pretty good though. Hopefully Kerry stays as the long form, then we get Josh Inglis in the short form. It does look like we're going to go that way. Looks like we're going to have Alex Curry as the long term, at least for 5 or 6 years. That would be the plan. Pastoral cereal is actually beetroot. What will Shane Moore say about Stark now? Well, keep his mouth shut maybe a little bit. Will England be able to come in this game after getting bowled out? There's no reason why England can't come back. If England get Australia out for 200, 220, which is very possible, then you've got a game. Because that means two teams are out within 2 days or so. We've got 3 days left, even with rain. There's sort of plenty of time to win the match. Plenty of time to say the least. Plenty of opportunities there for England to do well. Why would anyone eat beetroot? Well, why would you eat what you eat? I like it. Tastes nice. There's some spoons to the pitch. Well, Lyon got a bit of bounce. Leach will probably extract that too. But they're both going to be fairly innocuous in this test. Innocuous as in ineffective. What total do you reckon Australia will make in tomorrow? I reckon 220. Google showing only 1% chance of England winning. Google. Actually, since when is Google? I mean, are you talking about ESPN quick info? I'm not sure who you're talking about there because that sounds a bit wishy-washy. We certainly have had a pretty damn good series of games here. So Google's showing 1% chance of England winning. Well, Google will probably show a lot of things which are 1%. Tap-a-tap. Huh? What's tap-a-tap? Why England come in first set? Week by like that's not hard. That's not a bad question. Not having, but their tactic is over. They're going for the long haul. They think that they've got more chances of winning the later tests, which could well come down to a Hobart match, especially now that they haven't got Perth there, which would have favoured Australia totally. It looks as though they feel that they can allow the first test to go under the keeper, which means that they would have lost it anyway. They get away with the draw. If the weather affects them, they get away with the draw, and then they really benefit from that decision, haven't they? It'd be quite a bonus if that's the case. Okay, so Lyon to take his 400th wicket in Adelaide. Well, look, it's going to be the game. Indian tour of South Africa is four players and will be ruled out due to injury. Jadeja, Gill, Axar, and Rahane. Rahane was probably dropped. Jadeja may be a problem. Gill and Axar, I don't know. Beram. You're looking for Beram, are you? He's not here. Root got uprooted home track bully 0 test century in Australia. Well, tap is an Indian loving style. Okay. It will become easier about when the game progresses. You would think so. Thoughts on the game pitch? I think it's a good pitch. It's all about if what Hamid did was very, very good. He survived the first session, did all the hard work. If he'd been supported by Rory Burns, they would have been none fun. They would have gotten through to a pretty good day's play. But no, Rory Burns got that first ball, shuffling. It was quite a pathetic dismissal. It was a good ball, yes, but if he kept his feet on a middle leg stump, he could have just clipped the ball late and not been bowled. But he completely exposed his stumps and gave. Well, I'm not saying it was easy with Stark. Stark did bowl a very good delivery. There's no doubt that delivery was a Butler. An incredible start. We know that he's capable of it, but he then started to spray a few after that. But no, generally bowled well. He got a second wicket as well. What difference England this team in passing? Well, a younger Broad Anderson would have been here as well. This is the end of Rahane. Yeah, Rahane's gone. I agree. I think Rahane's over. He's going to feign the injury a bit longer, and then he'll just be like, Ravi Shankar, will the pitch become easier to bat on? I think so. Somewhat easier, but the rain's still hanging around and the overcast conditions are still hanging around. It'll be pretty much like this all the way through the test. But when a bit of sun hits it, we'll get a better pitch to bat on. 2 tests, England will win. I think so too. With the 5th being the side, any kind of fighting spirit, look, England, I think there is. Butler, Wokes, Best Abbey was on this side, Root himself. There's a fair bit of, you'd have to throw a bit of fight on the England side. There's no, look at Ben, and Ben Stokes, for God's sake. I haven't even really mentioned him. Ben Stokes is the best fighter you'll ever get. The way he battled against Australia that day was amazing. Absolutely amazing. And you all would agree with that. One of the best performances I've seen in a long time when he hit Australia for 150 or 60 when they had no hope of winning. And he lasted all the time with Jack Wood. It was brilliant play, to be honest. Absolutely brilliant play. Wasn't it? I mean, remember that test? Edgbaston, that was an absolutely brutally fantastic test match. You have to think very highly of that. Absolutely. It was magnificent. Hi, Norman to Don 007. Hello, Don 007. Norman, this match will get over on the 3rd day. You thought so? Well, if rain doesn't stop it getting this way, then yeah, I agree. I would say that will be the case. If 3rd or 4th day, we'll see. Rain predicted for tomorrow. So yes, but not all day. I think it'll be the same sort of day as what we had today. Who was the star for Australia? Cummins or Stark? Cummins. 5 wickets, captain. Stark's first ball set the scene. Yes, he contributed, but he wasn't the best player there. Your favourite batsman in the world of cricket? I mean, Coley, Williamson, Root to an extent. Warner when he's in form with Smith. Bubba up, a whole lot of them. They're all good players. But then I love Chris Gale when he bats. I love even Andre Russell. Andre Russell's coming to the Melbourne Stars very shortly. Alex Hales is a big hitter. He's only 6 runs away from being the most prolific run scorer in the Big Bash for a non-Australian player, which is a big feat. Robert Sharma should replace Root in the Fab Four, possibly. Yeah, I'd say his form this season certainly warrants it. No doubt Dave should pitch well for batsmen, but it depends on England bowling ownership. Yeah, that's true. Why you rate Australia so? I'm not rating Australia low at all. They've done exceptionally well today. They're in the front. I just want Australia to do better. You give them no chance of T20 World Cup also. Yeah, that was what everybody gave. I was not alone there. I think everyone didn't give Australia. The Australian team probably didn't rate themselves as doing well. But they did well. They went well beyond what was expected. That wasn't just me saying they wouldn't make the T20 World Cup. Everyone was saying it. It was a very commonly held thought. So no, Himanshu Sharma, it wasn't based on it at all. Good to have found your channel. That's nice. I appreciate that. But I'm not bagging Australia. I want Australia to do well. I'm critical of them, yes, as I am critical of India at times as well. How's Burns look for the rest of the Ashes? Don't you look promising for me? Or Ravi Shankar, if he bats like that, he'll have to fix that batting effort because he can bat. Kato Buddhist, no doubt everyone underrated the Oz team T20 World Cup. Exactly. See? Australia will win this on the 3rd day. I'd say close to the 4th, weather permitting. GB, Australia will crush England in the series. This Ashes is for Australia. Australia will watch England. I don't think it'll be that conclusive. Don Douglas. So what will you say about Cameron Green? He looks good. Well, he's gutsy young bloke, very tall, very rangy, can bat really, really well. His bowling is certainly fast. He's in the late 130s, sometimes 140s, Ks, that is, kilometres per hour. And he got a wicket say off a rank short ball that was pulled and caught by a great catch by Hazel. So it's his first wicket. He's broken the shackles, but he's taking a few tests. But yeah, admirable, certainly. It's a fun channel. Glad to have you on the chats. Great. Best stroke. Breast stroke. What are you saying? Australia, see the best coming. Says coming. He brings aggression. Yeah, we could see some. Shashan John said about Barnes Labuschagne. I see my form in him. Let's not overrate Labuschagne. Only rain can save England and Michael Vaughan from embracement or embarrassment. Embracement or embarrassment? If you're viewing this channel, please view, like, and share the post, and subscribe. Subscribe, and hit the notification button. Go to my Instagram, my Twitter, as well as my YouTube channel, which I've got there, and ultimately my Facebook. I've got Norman Kochnek, and I've got a LinkedIn page as well, with about 15,000 on there. What a dream start. It was a dream start. Best all-rounder, Ben Stokes, certainly. Speak Barrett, Marty. Oh my goodness. Burns' battling style is so weird that he often gets out. Yeah. Tim Payne was aggressive with his texts. He was somewhat. A bit over the top and not in the wrong. Didn't quite have the same command of what he was saying, to be honest with you. We've already gone past India at number 1, New Zealand at number 2. Let's have a look here. All right. Burns keeps falling over. Yeah, he does. How he is supposed to survive initial swing conditions? Well, he proved today that he couldn't. Any possible replacement? Well, Zach Crawley is quality, and he's very good in the showing. So we could see him come into the play. Darwin Milan looked good, I thought, and Hamid battled quite heavily. How you see head over Khawaja? I don't. I statistically think Khawaja's a better player and should be in the side. But a lot of the Australian players, including Cummins, Smith, really defended Travis Head's selection. Yeah. There must be some dissension there with Khawaja, I don't know, because he should be an automatic selection as well. 44 test matches, 8 century. Nothing wrong with his play. If anyone team want to check their strength, they should tour India. India is unbeatable at home. They certainly are. World Cup confidence will help Australia in the series. That's my opinion. I agree. Although Aaron Finch is not there, Glenn McGrath's not there, Matthew Wade's not there, and Stoinis is not there, and Adam Zampa's not there. Adam Zampa should be in the test squad? Absolutely. Trollman. Okay. Michael Vaughan has gone hiding. He criticised him to get cheap publicity. I think you're partly right. Have you seen? No, I already answered that question. Johnny Bairstow must have been included in place of Burns. He thought. So, well, he could. He could easily be in place of Burns. No reason why he couldn't be. I had no problems with him being there. At all. At all. Got a lot of time for Bairstow, actually. I think he's a pretty good player. Why is guys not playing hard? It's frustrating. It's very frustrating for me. Green is to be the next Shane Watson, no brainer. Yeah, could he's it's a fair comparison. Green needs to care of his injuries. He gets injury fast. Well, he's a very big, tall lanky. Yeah, he's much taller than anyone else. Poor day for England. Lucky the rain showed up. Well, actually not. I think it was lucky for Australia because they didn't have to bat that last hour, which could have seen them lose a few wickets. That's my thoughts there. Pakistan lost 14 consecutive test matches in Australia, and it's a world record losers. Well, how you see head, I've been mentioned. Norman, 50K soon. I shared link everywhere. Thank you very much, Sonny. Wonder why they left out Clive. Still wonder, same here. Ben Stokes. Australia will win the Ashes 4-1. Rowan, Coley, I don't know. I don't think it's that conclusive. Aussies will trashing. Let's just be careful about these words. We were saying the same thing about Australia in India last series. Australia, after when they got, remember when India were out for 36? After the Adelaide match, we all thought Australia would have romp at home, but no, they didn't. And I was quite damning of Australia at that point. And India was saying, oh, Australia's going to thrash us. Well, India came back in the Melbourne Test, drew the Sydney, and won the last, which was great. So, yeah. A day, 100 times Ben Stokes. You don't know what. Ben Stokes is great. Stokes is better all round than Ben Stokes. Ooh, that's a hard one to compare. They're both very, very good. It'll be leading run scorer. I think Smith. Everyone says forever. Okay. I'm not sure that is that to your right. So you've said that abbreviation before, I think. I'm pretty sure you have. What does that mean? Anyway, England, all that for 147. Far too short. But I can't see Australia getting... I think Australia will be pushing to get anywhere over 100 runs up ahead. They get the 250, they'll be doing pretty well. Okay. All right, guys, we're going to be on tomorrow morning before the match. So India is the world #1 Test cricket team. Norman, brother, can India beat South Africa? Yes, they can. And my prediction is they're going to win quite handsomely. The 3 Test matches, they'll probably win at least 2. I think they will win at least 2. My prediction. So in India now, it's just not even 2 p.m. You guys have got a long day ahead of you, but no cricket. We're now resting here in Australia. Big mistake got brought, I think so. Trick out Charlotte, I think so. I'm sorry, being late. I was there swimming. Oh, that's all right, going. Do you know what Virat Kohli's favourite word is? Ben Stokes. Well, so we'll win 3-1. I think England will win 3-2. England dismisses Steve Smith, Labuschagne soon, then Australia can be trapped. Yeah, they can be. I want you to say India will win the series in South Africa 2-1. I'd say so, yeah. At least 2-0 with a draw or 2-1, maybe even 3-0. I'll go 2-1. Virat Kohli's favourite word. Okay. Hello, Simon. Oh, actually, how are you? The direct hit. I don't know, where are you surprised by England's batting first? No, I wasn't surprised by England's batting first because that's what Australia would have done. Won the toss and batted first. It would have been the way Australia played. Just they didn't do that well. Cameron Green, admirable. His first wicket finally. So that's a bit of a deep breath for him. A bit like Lyon getting his 400th. Why do you think we're struggling against Josh? Yeah, he just didn't look settled at all. Almost a... Oh, will you explain it rather than me? Look, Jadesia's better all-rounder than Ben Stokes. No, he's not. They're both as good as each other. That's the way to look at that. They're both as good as each other. No doubt. Okay. Jadeja is equally good as an all-rounder as Ben Stokes in their own right, a different way. Ben Stokes certainly is a match winner, whereas Jadeja is just all-round very good. It's the best way of describing that comparison. You're going for lunch, AJ's good on you. Okay. Rude, scared or sacred of 14 runs, but struggles against. He played against pace like Cummins. Oh, he had a great year. Played well against India. Played well earlier against Sri Lanka. Got centuries and double centuries. It's a long season. Got to give him some credit. He's right up there. He scored 9,200 plus runs. He's only second to Alistair Cook in the England line, which is pretty amazing. Let's be honest, it's terrific. It's a terrific performance. Terrific. India has not lost any Test series since and understandably so. They're a significant side. Can we say that the lack of preparation thing on the series was there to see today? Well, Australia also had a lack of preparation as well, so you can't say one side over the other. We'll wait to see Australia bat first. Warner might fall cheaply. We just don't know. Possibly Australians resting their top 5 after a couple of tests. They didn't do it last time. I don't know whether Cummins won't want to. He's captain. India have won 32 out of the 40 test matches in the last 8 years. That's pretty amazing. Quite amazing. It's an amazing stat, let's be honest. Amazing stats, really. Australia haven't lost a test series this year. They got beaten by India earlier this season. That's out the window. Australia haven't played any test matches at all this year. You can't lose them, I guess, if you don't play them. So I can't wait for that. That's going to be big. That's December 26th. It's about another 2.5 weeks away. It was not a series. Well, a little bit of that going on. I would agree with that. So, India haven't lost against Australia. That's true. How did you see Cummins come to start a word for him? Led by example. Taking 5 wickets. That's pretty impressive. Bowled himself in the 5th over. Led from the front. How much of the time the rain is expected to eat out the third? Probably 1 to 2 hours every day. Probably almost knock out a day in the overall year, which is fine because a day in the overall test was up, but they won't need more than 4 days to win the match. We've already lost 1 innings in less than a day's play. So we've only had 1 innings completed. So yeah, we're not far from them. What do you think? Which team can beat India at home? Ooh. I would have said England, but they didn't do it. New Zealand didn't do it. So yeah, there's not much there, really, is there? At all. All right, guys. India do not lose a series this year against Aussies 3-1 England. What time of the show will come as war time? No. Only got no. No, I think it's going to be really Pat Cummins like. Yeah. Jason Fraser McClurk, what about him? We'll see him next session. Perhaps. Alex Harry did well today behind the 6th. How do you see his keeping that pace? Very calm, very collected, very in control. He kept well. He's an experienced player. Whether he's got the pizzazz of a Josh Inglis, I can't comment. And you'll lead incomplete series against England. Yeah, that's right. They have that test match still going, haven't they? What a start for Australia. What a start for Cummins, yes. So that's right, you're right. I was told yesterday Australia will have advantage. It seems like the home advantage made England lose their mind first and then wickets. Well, the batting decision was not a wrong one, because I think Australia would have done the same thing. They just didn't perform well. The first ball set the tone of the innings. Absolutely, like the series way back where Harmison bowled an outrageously big wide, it set the tone for that series as well. So, yeah. It's stumps, not sticks, that's true. Definitely, you're right. And we've had a lot of viewers here again, guys. We've done well with the viewership of these sessions. Obviously, where India have not lost a test series against Australia since 2004, either at home or away. Rowan Kyle, he says, only India is the team who can beat Australia in Australia. What's your opinion? I think you're right, but England may have a chance this time. If we don't see England fight tomorrow, this will be like a 5-0 series. I don't want that sort of series. So England will fight. Don't worry about it. England will fight. England will definitely fight. All right, guys, keep talking. I'll put a few things away, guys. I've got a bit of a mess going on here with my pickles. Do you see the pickles? See that? Pickles, beautiful. They're like a pepperoni type pickle. I've got beetroot, and like blood, and cucumbers and brine. Lovely. All lovely food. Sorts out your stomach as usual. Also, Ravi Ashwin or Ravi Jadeja was a spin option in South Africa. Ashwin and Jadeja both should play. How many times England will have won the Ashes in Australia? Not many. a handful. And the same in the reverse for Australia. I haven't won that many in England either. So it's horses for courses, as we know. Yes. Will we see Payne back in any level of cricket? I don't think he'll be playing for the country again. Don't forget that Tim Payne, back a while ago, before he was resurrected, he actually was going to work for Kookaburra, the batting company, and just give up on cricket altogether and just be a salesman. And then he got resurrected in the Test team because of the whole Warner Bancroft Smith debacle. Sandpaper Gate was resurrected into a Test cricket and had quite a long one. So he'd be quite happy at having broken his fingers early on, missing out a lot of tests that have been on the outer, then coming back and playing and captaining and doing all that, and then having this rather untimely end. In the end, he has played a fair few test matches. Will we see Payne? But I already spoke. Well, no, we won't. Who has the guts to beat India? Not many. Does the Ashes rotate 1 year in England and 1 year in Australia? Every 2 years they're in the pack. So it's every 4 years it comes to Australia. Does England have any other than Burns, Crawley's, Lawrence? They've not performed in the last 2 years. Sibley and Lawrence, I don't think much of. Crawley, I think a lot of them. Burns has been okay. So, and now Hamid, I think, Burns has scored runs. What are you talking about? He's not to be not. At all. Nothing wrong with him at all. We got a healthy number of people in both morning and the evening sessions, which I'm happy about. So make sure you observe. Okay. Also, yourself, Norman, we would appreciate if you can check us out on YouTube. Sure. What are you checking? Is that you? As in direct hit? Is that yours? Or tell me the links. Happy to promote anyone who wants me to promote them. No problems with that. That's what I'm here to do, is to help. We're a community of YouTubers. No reason why you can't, help each other out at all. All right. I don't know. It tells the direct hit. Some comments there with the direct hit. I can have a look at them. View, like, and share the posts. Subscribe, as I want to subscribe to yours. Hit the notification button. Hit at Norman Koch, which of course is the Twitter and Instagram handle. Norman Koch, the early part there. That is my Facebook and my LinkedIn. I'll come back in on an hour. Would you be live then? Probably not. I'm probably not going to last another hour going Porringer. You do all the hard work and the toughest of time in one fine day. Put all that and go with this. For hearing pains, yeah. He's still got a pretty good record for Test cricket. He still played. I mean, how many Test matches has he played? Let's have a look at how many Test matches has he played. Let's have a look here. Tim Payne. Stats. All records. Let's say Australia. Individual records. Let's see what Tim Payne holds up there. Norman. Nathan Lyon. Payne is currently the weakest in the world. I think he is in Santa keeping. Saha. Or Middleman Saha. Ben Folkes, yes. Certainly would agree with you there. Let's say with his most matches as captain. Most matches as captain. Let's have a look on it. So Rick has had 57 Test matches as captain. He said so Joe Root has captained for 57 Test matches, whereas Alistair Cook actually 59. So in this series, Joe Root will actually surpass Alistair Cook as the number of games he captained his country. Impressive. In fact, he is the most capped England captain ever. Australia, the top is Graham Smith, 109, Border with 93, Fleming, 80, Ponting, 77, Lloyd, 74, Coley, 66, Donny, 60, Alistair Cook, 59, and Root, 57. Warhead, 57 as well. But he won 41 of his matches. Let's have a look here. I'll look at see what Tim Payne comes into play. I don't know what Tim Payne captained that many. How many games? So Ian Chappell only kept in 30 matches. Woodfull Akram, he kept 20. Tendulkar captained 25 Test matches. Tendulkar captained his country 25 times, but only won 4 Test matches. Not a great record. Steve Smith's captain for 34 times. Kane Williamson, 38. Michael Clark, 47. Greg Chappell, 48. Mark Taylor, 50. Strauss, 50. Michael Vaughan, 51. Hansi Cronje, 53. Atherton, 54. Wayne 56. And Misbah Al-Haq, who came very late, 56. I'm not sure where Tim Payne is, how many times he was captain. He's not. He must have had 25 matches. So I'll have to look up Tim Payne and see where he fits there, because he doesn't fit on that board there. Tim Payne was born in 1984, so he's 37. He played in 35 Test matches. How many did he captain was the question. He played in 35 Test matches, didn't captain all of them. I don't know how many he captained. He played 35 Tests. One scored 1534 is called no centuries in his time. He took 150 catches and 7 stumpings. So, and his 35 Test matches never scored a century for his country, which he would not have been happy about that. But he did play 35 Tests. There's nothing wrong with that record. 35 Tests. How many Test matches did he? I want to go back there again. I'm not happy with that. I want to know how many matches he captained. He made his debut in Test cricket in 2010, which I think was the same year as Steve Smith, actually. So, and he played over a period of 11 and a half years, but didn't play all that time. He actually debuted in ODIs in 2009 and T20s in 2009. He debuted for Tasmania in 2005. It's strange that they're not telling us something about how many games he captained. He played 10 Test matches against England. Okay. He captained, it looks like, 23 Test matches. Yeah. He was captain in 23. He was under Steve Smith in 8 and 4 under Ricky Ponting. Ricky Ponting was in the 2010 era and Steve Smith was 2017. So he didn't play Test cricket from 2000. He played 4 Test matches in 2010, then didn't play until 2017, until he played 8, and then 8 in the 21. He's played 23. I mean, effectively there. So he was captain for 23 Test matches. that looks like this. Is captain for 23, is not captain for 12. So he captained 23 of the 35 tests he played. So, that's pretty impressive. Didn't score that many runs. Caught well, though. So there you go. There's some stats which he captained for 23 tests. That's quite a bit of play. And you got to feel sorry for him. Who is the top team between India and Australia? England and New Zealand nowadays. Oh, well, India is number 1. New Zealand is number 2. 3 would probably be England, depending on the series, and Australia would be 4. I would argue that would be the order. Maybe we might throw in the other teams in that mix as well. Can we move the 5th test to Headingley? And the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd. Tim Wilton Davies, you cheeky bugger. It's too late, I'm sorry. That's called Ashes at Home. That was already in 19, where we retain the Ashes. You have to wait until 2023 now before we play it back at your neck of the woods. So no, we're not playing Headingley or anywhere near it. England miss Cook as an opener. They probably do. But as we've just found out, and that's going to be so Tane Payne captain for 23 tests. And it looks as though Root's about to pass Cook. And when I come into India, when all this COVID stuff falls away, I'll be coming there for sure. Well, I'd like to have gone now, but you're going to be in South Africa. So next year. Well, the World Cup's here, don't forget as well. Let's have a look here. Most matches as captain. Let's go. So again, Payne was there for 23. So he misses out on this list because the list goes down to 25. So Joe Root, including this match, this is his 57th match as captain, and only Alistair Cook with 59 is in front of him. But with some 4 tests left, we're going to see Root probably go into the lead and he'll even go in front of Coley. So Dhoni, I should say. There you go. So that's interesting. Graham Smith, captain for 109 tests. Border 93, Fleming 80, Ponting 77, Lloyd 74, Coley 66. So he's effectively 6th on that list. Dhoni is at 7th. Alistair Cook is 8th, and Root is 9, and Waugh is 10th. And that only happened because Root's just equal Steve Waugh's number of captaincies. So he's got 4 more, 8, 9, 6. He could go to 61, which will put him in just behind Coley in 7th. So there's Smith, Border, Fleming, Ponting, Lloyd, in the top 5, followed by Coley and what will be Root once he finishes this series. He will move to 7th behind Coley on 6th. When are you coming? Okay. What's wrong with Burns' footwork? Can you explain? He was moving. He didn't keep. He is a shuffler, but it was just first ball got him. It was a rip of a ball, and he was just totally found out. That could easily have just gone away with another leg side, missed the stumps, and that would have been forgotten, but it didn't. It didn't. No way did it do it. Yeah. We'll go another 10, 15 minutes, guys, and we'll finish up today, okay, which is now getting close to 8 o'clock. Are you expecting a good show by England bowlers? Well, I think so, yes. Tomorrow's forecast should come well is going to be, just like today, 1 or 2 sessions of no interruption, and then the third session where there'll be rain for an hour, some delays, and may get some end result or bad light. So we'll get 2 good sessions, which should be enough, really. So NASA is saying elected to bowl at the go after winning the toss. They were all out for C9 in the second innings, so you have a point. If you win, you should toss them. It's always been the case. Any Australian side has always batted first, especially the first match of the series. If England had not lost Rory Burns and Hamid certainly stuck around, they would have both been there and they would have struggled, but they would have gotten through that period and may have been on the second session of the day with only 1 wicket down. and ultimately had 2 or 3 wickets down the day. That could have happened, but it didn't. There's no point in trying any conjecture to that one because it didn't happen. It didn't happen. Yeah. All right, guys. So we might start to consider throwing in the towel here. What do you think? It's been okay. Norman, brother, I don't agree with you. 1, India, 2, Australia, 3, New Zealand, 4, England. No, the rankings are India first, New Zealand second, England third, Australia fourth. Let's see, after the series, Australia may move back up to third, but they're not going to encourage India first and New Zealand second. World Test Champions won by New Zealand only a matter of months ago. So you can't knock out. I'm not sure that means Pravega. I don't know where you got that from. Are you guys subscribing? You seem to be, some of you are doing, but are you really subscribing? I want you to subscribe. Hit the notification button. Go to Norman Koch, which is my Twitter and Instagram. Go to Norman Kochnik there, which is my Facebook and my LinkedIn. And of course, my YouTube channel, as we said earlier, is Eyes on Cricket with Norman Kochnik. Always good to have you guys. You know that. It's been a pretty good day. Content page is always a little bit strong. The live shows you guys like, just for fun. What does it mean? Kobar Azam. Tell me what that means. Well, I'm saying it. You better bloody will tell me what it means. Can you tell me what it means? Is it just for fun? Is that what it means? Just for fun? Does it mean just for fun? It doesn't sound like it means just for fun at all. Paradise. Very, very close. All right. Just for fun, I'm going to put some things away, and then we'll consider leaving for the day, guys. We'll put away the beetroot, the pepperoni, which is, can you say pepperoni? Marco Polo pepperoni. It's like this very, very, a bit on the spicy, well, as in hot, chili hot type. There it is there. Oops. Oh boy. It's been a day of food. Put the fork away. Got chocolates here, guys. I shouldn't be eating. You didn't say me to this, okay? Okay. All right. So we're going to end the show now, guys, but I want you to tell me what you think will be the results that I've got myself a little time. Mark my words. Lord Anderson will come back later. And Stokes is still around. Butler coming back. There's a fair bit of gusto there on those players. Not to be sneezed at. Not to be sneezed at all. All right. Very nice. What the thing I was eating? A little chocolate. Well, England, please learn from India how to play cricket in Australia. Rubbish, poor performance from England. Don't forget India were up for 36. They still won that series. So, while I'm eating Girish Tiwari, I'm making some chocolates. Just had my dinner. Let's not forget India, that India were all out for 36 in Adelaide. I was there. It was an atrocious performance. And Joe Burns got runs. But some Rory Burns didn't. He only got 147. Doesn't sound very good, but Australia could still lose the series. Don't for 1 minute think that there's going to be a 5-0 slaughter that easily, because it won't. There's nothing conclusive about that at all. All right, guys. I see ranking 10 rankings. New Zealand, Australia, England. I thought it was India, New Zealand, England, Australia, but okay. If you were Indian, you would understand because God word is famous in India. Okay, well, tell me what it means. Which battle is famous? They're all famous. They're all famous. India versus Pakistan, they're both of equal importance, guys. Both have equal importance. Both have equal importance. Both have equal importance. Both have equal importance. So we've got that one there. And we're done, guys. All right. G'day, mate. Hi, Skype. Skype is a lot. Skype's a lot. You have 2 sisters. Okay. How much was those scores? I think 220. Pakistan lost 14 consecutive test matches. Australia. Okay. That's not good. Okay. Where are you from, sir? England or Australia? I'm from Australia. I'm Australian from Coogee Beach in Sydney, Australia. Girish Tiwari, have you subscribed to my YouTube channel? Eyes on Quicker with Norman Kochnick. It'll tell you all about what I'm about. Okay? All right, guys. We might leave it at that. So, where are you from? I'm from Australia. Girish Tiwari, please don't compare 6th ranked ODI size count. Okay, let's not have a battle like that, please. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. It's now, what time is it in India? It's actually it's fast approaching 2:30, isn't it? Correct? Well, it's close to 8 p.m. here. I wouldn't mind having an earlier night. We're going to early sunrise tomorrow. We'll have the second day preview. We'll talk about the game. And we'll talk about that more. So, okay, so let's have some fun there with that. And we'll talk more about that. So, guys, all the best. Eyes on Career Norman Kochnick. Subscribe. Hit the notification button. Norman Koch for Twitter. For Instagram. Norman Kochnick for my Facebook and my so-called LinkedIn. We'll talk tomorrow. Ciao.